Yeah, come and join us at Sequoia Living REI, where we only talk about relevant topics, things that are important, things that help you grow, things that help you elevate. Come and join us. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality.
Yes.
What's up,
What's
people?
going on, everybody?
What's up?
Yes, we are back with another episode of Conversations with SNL.
Yep, it's morning over here. I don't know what time it is where you at, but I hope you got off to an awesome start.
Yes.
Hey, look, I'm Seth.
I'm Lashia.
And together,
we make Sequoia Living Investments. Yes.
Look, where we cover motivation, inspiration, and financial education.
Yes.
Let's get it, people. Let's get it.
Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Iffy, a multifaceted entrepreneur pharmacist and the visionary of Goshen Capital Investments. With a mission to empower women, healthcare professionals, and immigrants on their journey to financial freedom through multifamily apartment investing. Iffy has actively and passively partnered in 475 units across Pennsylvania, Texas, and Mississippi. When she's not in the intensive care unit or foregoing meaningful equity partnerships, she cherishes quality time with her 3 adorable children. Stay tuned for an insightful conversation. People, Iffy people.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here. And I can't say thank you enough for inviting me to be on this platform.
Thank you. It is our honor.
Yeah.
We are so glad to have you here today.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Yes, and we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into the first question.
Of course.
Yes. So can you share the story behind the founding of Goshen Capital Investments and how your journey as a pharmacist led you into the world of real estate investment?
Right. So, unlike a couple of people who could boast about the fact that, when they came out of their mother's womb, they knew they were going to be entrepreneurs, they were going to be business people. That was not me. I actually swore I would never marry a business person. Business and I were like oil and water. You know why? I never actually thought about it until recently. I believe it's because of the risk involved. I just wasn't, someone who loved taking risks of any sort. I also saw business people as aggressive, and I am not. I do not do aggression or confrontation. That is just, it's not in my personality. And another thing is, I felt business people were not, or businessmen, entrepreneurs, or businesswomen, they were just not available for their families. They were always traveling. So again, think circa the 80s, okay, 1980s, 1990s. So the successful person, the successful business person was always, jet setting, flying from here to there. So I can't tell you that I've always dreamed of being a business person or an entrepreneur. That wasn't my story at all. If anything, life nudged me very, very hardly and very, very firmly into business life. So, I find myself one day thinking about my, the future. I'm looking at my oldest. He's going to turn 13 that year. And in my head, it was almost as if things just clicked. I said, wow, 13, that's a very, very pivotal year. I can see college in the horizon. Oh, college. Wow. I'm still paying student loans. So my student loans are the size of a mortgage. And so I'm thinking, I'm already working 2 jobs. I'm a single mom of 3 kids. I'm hardworking. So working hard is not the issue. Working more is not feasible. How can I get myself or my situation to work smarter? And that's how I went down the path of investing. I started looking into the stock markets, etc., educating myself. This was 2022, right? And I went to the program everyone at that time in the pandemic went to, YouTube. So went there and started learning how to invest. What is a mutual fund? What is a this and what is a that? How do you buy a house? And the algorithm did its thing. And before you know it, I started, getting all these real estate investment videos. I actually was in the market for a house at that time. I was trying to learn how to buy a primary residence. And so fast forward a couple of months later, I find myself watching this person called Pace Morby.
Yes.
And my first, it was a short. It was a YouTube short. It came very quickly. He speaks very quickly. And the Nigerian in me didn't understand what the heck he said, but I went, scam. Nah. And then it bothered me because I kept thinking, what if it wasn't? What if it was real? At this point, I had nothing to lose. I was this person that didn't like taking on risks, but life had happened to me, and now, when you're at the bottom, there's nowhere else to fall. He who is down fears no fall, right? So I said, what if it's not a scam? Except the problem is this: he had a weird name. I didn't save his name, didn't save the channel. I couldn't find it again. So there I am scrolling, trying to find, this is weeks later, who is that person? And, all these audio devices in your it comes up again all of a sudden, somehow, something was listening in my device. So I eventually joined Sub2 in June 2022, and my world was open. My life was open to this thing called investing, to this thing called owning a business. Yeah. And for me, the first thing that happened for me was mindset shift. That took months. Yeah. See, I went in with this hunger and this desire to go and buy houses. I had a plan. You come up with your why. I had done that. Check. Plan. Check. Okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy houses in the Midwest. Check. Not so fast. Life said to me, not so fast. It wasn't that easy. So the beauty of, and sorry if I'm going off on a rabbit trail here, but the beauty of Sub2 is I went in with the intention of acquiring assets, and as life would have it, I started to find myself first. And a lot of faulty, inaccurate, poorly designed paradigms that I had I already talked about some of them in the beginning. Scarcity mindset. I'm originally from Nigeria. I'm not saying that every Nigerian has a scarcity mindset. No, I'm just saying that I've lived in abundance and I've lived with lack. And I understand fully well, I've seen it live and direct, that money has wings. And so when you grow up with that, it's hard to part with funds. It's hard to part with funds when you're not even sure where they may end up. So even the concept of invest in yourself, invest in a mentorship. Well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if I don't get my money back? Well, what am I going to do? Etc. So anyway, I get into Sub2, and that was the beginning of my journey for me. And since then, it's opened my life and my eyes to parts of me that I didn't know existed. For instance, our avatars, right? Knowing what our avatars are. I was the world's greatest introvert. I think I still am, but I found out that I can be the world's greatest extroverted introvert. Switch it on when I need to. So that's my story, I guess, in a nutshell, of how I got into this. A lot of my business names and themes are intentionally selected from meaningful parts of scripture. So I'm a Christian, and the land of Goshen was where the children of Israel lived in. For those who are not Christian, just explain it. I'm not asking you to believe in Christianity, but if you do, that'll be great. The land of Goshen was where the Israelites lived in Egypt, and at a point in time, the Egyptians were suffering. They were going through the plagues, but the land of Goshen was spared. And that literally was a little piece of Canaan that was there. I mean, they didn't feel like it was, but they were spared. So even though I was surrounded by, lack, I was surrounded by adversity, I was surrounded by, scarcity mindset, I was surrounded by, life happening to me. I started Goshen because from there I would get rivers of living water,
Wow.
fruitfulness, etc. will come from there. So yeah, a lot of my business names are intentionally selected.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. That's awesome.
Wow.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
love it. Yeah. And I love your transparency because there are a lot of
Yeah,
people, that are fearful to make that step into entrepreneurship because they're like, I'm introverted and like you, they don't like confrontation, but you are a living testament that it is possible.
it is
But it's
possible.
free.
It
Yes.
is. It is.
Good things,
That's right.
Yes.
good things is quick. Yep,
Absolutely.
yep,
It
definitely.
is. It is. It is. It's possible. And I think as we grow, as we mature, we'll always face a different level of challenge and things that will really stress or strain that mindset that we have. I thought I had gotten rid of a whole lot of things, and then about a year later, here I am talking to someone, and I honestly can't remember what I said. And he said, "Ooh, that's a scarcity mindset," and I went, again, I thought I was done with this. I thought but it's growth, right? It's
Yes.
growth that you want to continue happening in your life. You don't want your growth to be stunted. It's not like physical growth. It's you always want to be growing. So yeah, um,
Yes.
this this entrepreneurial journey has been a very indirect blessing to me. It's been challenging, but did I think I was going to grow or be forced to face parts of my life or parts of me or my character that I had kept hidden all these years? No, didn't think that was gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I love it.
Definitely. Sometimes it could be it could be scary. It could be fearful. It's just like facing your fears.
Yeah.
When you face them, you find out what you're capable of, and then you just kind of you start to like rewire some of those old programs, those old patterns,
Yes,
maneuver, get up out of them, and then now you recognize them. So like when they start coming up, you like, oh nah, that's an old pattern. Let me shift to who I know I am, who I want to be.
exactly,
They going down that
exactly.
direction there.
Exactly. No, no, I agree. The thing that there's a great, wonderful, phenomenal mindset coach within the Sub 2 community. He has his own community as well. His name is Keston. I'm pretty sure you know him. But he one day I was talking to him, and when he redefined faith for me, similar to the lines that you're talking about, being able to see yourself in that new you, your new normal. So it helps with overcoming new challenges. So today you may have to raise $500,000. Well, if you've never raised a cent before, that's a lot of money. That takes a lot of mindset shift and stretch, etc. When you're done with that, you may have another opportunity to now raise $1 million, $2 million. Always seeing yourself as being able to be that person, whoever that futuristic person is key. Is key to being able to quickly overcome those challenges. Otherwise, like me, I'm the kind of person that would be stuck in analysis paralysis. I want to know everything about everything, and before you know it, I'm just circling the drain. I'm circling the drain in fear and in doubt.
Wow.
Whether I can do this, I don't think I can. Well, what are the odds? And who else has done it? And and it's just wasting time. You're just going around the mountain.
Yeah.
If you must go around the mountain, sing.
That's right.
Do it 7 times and sing. Watch those walls fall down.
Yes.
Definitely. That was
That's
good. That was tasty.
Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah. Let's keep it moving. Let's get some
Absolutely.
information from the firm.
Yes.
So your firm focuses on empowering women, healthcare professionals and immigrants. So what inspired you, to target these specific groups, and what impact have you seen through your work?
I am targeting people like me. I'm simply going after people like me, because so if you look at healthcare professionals, we get so many years of training, right? And then we get a job, we get a career. That's what we're working toward. And then you think, wow, I've made it. Whether you're a physician, you're a surgeon, you're a nurse, you're a pharmacist, etc. Wow, or you're physician assistant, whatever. I've made it. This is what I've been working towards. But there's this knowledge gap, this huge knowledge gap that I found because I didn't know a fraction of the things I know now. I thought I had made it. And then when people started talking about financial freedom, I'm thinking, isn't it what I'm doing? Isn't it having a job and being able to put food on the table? Oh wait, I can't take a vacation anytime I want, right? Because my schedule's tied to somebody else. I can't, I have to work that second job. It's bringing in the funds, but I have to work it. So am I financially free? So I found out that if I have this knowledge gap, well, most of them do. There are healthcare professionals that are in business, in real estate, but there are a ton that aren't. And so I felt if I could do it, I could show them that it was possible for them to do it as well. Immigrants, like I said in the beginning of this, it was only January 2022, I finally took an interest into understanding what investments was all about. IRA accounts, 401k, like what do those even mean? Because I think when I came, and I can't say this for every immigrant, but when I came, there's this, you're just in go survival mode. Got to get that job. Okay, the job is not the highest paying job because you didn't go to school here. And so, okay, fine, got to get that job, then got to go to school. Great. And so you're doing job, you're working school, before you know it, kids come. And then now you're at you're at the peak of your career, but then you're just this, you're still the hamster in a wheel. You're still doing the same thing. And there's, again, this knowledge gap. I actually found that in terms of impact, when I was raising for the 2 deals we had, the people that gave me the toughest run for my money were people like me, were people with, immigrants, Nigerians. There's just this huge distrust because we come from a country where we have a lot of gifted people in Nigeria, but we've also been plagued with very poor leadership, right? We've been plagued with people who they come in, do what needs to be done, siphon funds, don't look back at the next person, and flee. And so when you approach someone that grew up in this kind of era saying, give me your money. Why? No. How do I know it's going to come back to me? That sort of thing. And then I'm a single parent, and I want to show other single moms that they can be financially free. I think a lot of women stay in distasteful relationships because they just they're not empowered enough to know that they can make what needs to be made in order for them to stand on their own and live free. And this goes also for men who may be in, domestic violence. That's something that's near and dear to my heart. Relationships as well. And so again, it's just me trying to educate IFI 1.0. That's how I targeted these population.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. And when you were talking about just, kind of just keeping your money close because you don't know if it's going to come back, it just reminded me of an analogy that someone had shared with me. It's like having a closed fist. When you have a closed fist, not only does nothing enter, but nothing can come as well.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
So I absolutely love that. And I love that you're going back, like you were able to come out of, your fears and, things that you were holding back, but that wasn't good enough. You're going back and you're getting the other people that are still there. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's fulfilling, it's rewarding. Like I said, when I went in to sub two at the beginning, you're thinking, I'm going to buy houses, I'm going to get enough to put away for the kids, for myself, and then they ask you to come up with your why, and then you encounter people like Keston that say, what are your we why? Beyond that why that has to do with yourself, your family, what is your global why? And so that's something that hopefully your viewers are thinking through.
You can say if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough.
That's right.
If your why isn't to the sky, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
I love
You
that.
gotta
That's
dig that
awesome.
why. You gotta dig into it.
Yes.
That's what keeps you motivated, because motivation, inspiration is not enough.
Yeah,
It's not enough.
exactly.
That's when your why takes over. When your why takes over, and you sit back when you do those rough nights, you got to stay up. 12. You want to get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, but you got to stay up until 12.
Yeah.
That's when you ask, like,
Yep.
you got to, okay, why am I doing
Why am
this?
I doing this?
Why am I doing this? And then you might cry for a couple of minutes, you might cry a second, but then it'll snap you right back in,
Yes.
But yeah,
Absolutely. What I'm about to say is not to knock anyone that you says their family, their children, or their wives. Those are absolutely on point, perfectly fine. That was coming into this, that was not my case. My kids were my kids and my mom, my secondary why. My primary why was me, because I had to overcome this Goliath to get into the frame of mind, into this position called owning a business. And it was a huge thing for me, because I was coming from a place where I had been trapped, I had been silenced. And so to be able to stand up and say, I overcame all of that with God's help, I was doing this primarily first for me, for the future me, because that future me would make much more sense, be a much, much better person, parent, mother, friend, daughter, person of impact to those around me. So I was doing this for me, for the who I was going to become. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, it's beautiful.
Definitely.
Yeah, because they say, in order to love someone else, you must first know how to love yourself.
Of course, exactly.
Coming from like working a W-2, working a job, entering into entrepreneurship, it's like you never ran a business before, and that's what it's like with a lot of people. They want to be entrepreneurs, they want to just be one day as an employee, to be the next day to be a business owner, and that takes a lot. That takes a lot to be able to do that. And if you don't know that, you might end up being in one of those situations where you have a failed business, then another failed business, then another failed business, because you don't know, how to be an employee, because that's what was taught in school. That's what was taught in school. And that's what they teach you. They teach you to be an employee, So transferring over into being entrepreneurship, like you said it, the way you said it, it was good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Listen up, people. Y'all better have your pens and pads out. Write some of these jewels down, people.
Oh gosh, you're too kind.
That actually leads us right into our next question. With 475 units across different states, you've built an impressive portfolio. Could you highlight a particularly challenging deal you successfully navigated, and what valuable lessons did you learn?
Okay, how much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding. So I'll give credit. So I'm part of another mentorship that focuses on commercial multifamily acquisitions. Right, it's run by a wonderful person called Rod Cleef, and he says, "Don't call them mistakes, call them seminars." Right, you're gonna turn around, you're gonna learn from them, and you're gonna teach from them, and that's what I tell my kids when they want to make a decision, and they come to me asking questions that are, in my opinion, things that I feel they can answer themselves.
Yes.
And rather than always spoon feed them the answer, I encourage them to try and answer it themselves. And I say to them, it's going to be one of two things. You're either going to be right or you're going to learn. One of them. So the deals that we recently closed, I closed two deals.
Mhm.
Um, concurrently, or
Yeah.
kind of.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Almost at the same time. So I say I, but that's really incorrect. It was we, my team. The assets themselves, there's really nothing wrong with them at all. That we didn't have structural problems and pipe leaks and sewer we didn't run into any of those. The the issues and the seminars came from human relationships,
Mhm.
right? So anyone going into commercial multifamily, anyone going into business,
Mhm.
if it's a team-based sport, if that's the type of business you're going into, commercial multifamily is one of those. Um, the team is 1,000% more important than the deal,
Wow.
because the team can take and make or break that wonderful deal that you think you have. And so, in terms of relationships, let me share two things I learned. Um, remember that thing I told you about risks?
Mhm.
It kept on following me. It's probably still in me. I probably just went from being able to tolerate a zero to I'm probably at a 0.5 now. Maybe I'll soon be at a 0.75. Yeah, it's progress, right? Baby steps. So, um, a lot of things that happen in our past, at the time they are happening, we don't see them as seeds for the future. The first time I wanted to LP, and for those who may not know what that means, I wanted to be a limited partner, a passive investor. I didn't want to do any of the work in getting the commercial multifamily deal. I wanted mailbox money. I wanted to give, operators my money, and then I get distributions periodically. So the first time I wanted to do that, I actually got an opportunity brought to me by a sub-2 student who was working with these owner operators. At the time, that was the beginning of my multifamily journey. I didn't know how to read the returns. I didn't know how to read the underwriting. So he brings it to me and I'm looking at it. And problem number one is I didn't go to anyone for help. Why? Because I had always worked on my own. I was used to doing that in school. I studied on my own and I always did well. So I always worked on my own. So I said I was going to figure it out. Except I now have 2 jobs, 3 kids. So the time it took me, by the time I was done learning this on my own, the offering closed. And so that opportunity went away. And then in December of 2022, there was another opportunity that I wanted to get into, except the entry fee or the minimum to invest was a little bit more than I could afford. And so the general partners on that team, some of the general partners said, well, what I could do was I could find other people, right? And we could form an LLC, and that LLC will go into the offering as a single entity. And so that was my first time I had to really, really raise capital. So I said, I got it. I'm on it. I'll do it. And I went to every group, every Zoom, every meeting, and I'm telling everyone, come invest with me. I'm going to do this. So the minimum was 100,000. I ended up getting 4 other people, but we only wanted a total of 4. So there are now 4 of us, right? Me and 3 other people. As it turns out, I formed the LLC. We all had meetings, etc. Everything was going really nice and rosy. LLC now needs bank accounts. I called to confirm everyone's name as they would like it listed on the bank account. And that's when one of them said, well, I haven't yet gotten the money from my fix and flip, so I don't think I'll be able to. Oh no.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, there's a fix and flip result? Like, I thought you said you're going into this regardless. Like, what is this fix and flip? This, because again, you see, it's deja vu. I can see that the offering's about to close up on me again.
Yeah.
Everything unraveled. The offering switched from, so in commercial multifamily, the SEC allows for different types of marketing strategies, so to speak. So operators can advertise or present their opportunities to people that they know who may not be what's called accredited investors. So an accredited investor, you have to, there's a whole list of things that of different scenarios that can make you accredited. But you're accredited if you earn, I think it's $200,000 or more per year, 300,000 if you're a couple, etc. So it's December, and this thing begins to unravel in front of my eyes, and then it switches to a 506c to accredited investors only. I am not accredited. At that point in time, I could no longer move forward with the investment. But guess who had an LLC that she had to get rid of with my own funds? Yeah, because everybody all of a sudden it was just crickets, and yeah. So this is attempt number 2, trying to get it. I'm like, is this thing so difficult? So it's January, right? It's January, and that same sub 2 student comes back with a deal again from the same operators, but different deal. And I go away! The world doesn't like me. It's not working. I don't want to do this. Leave me alone. And so anyway, he talks me into doing it. Why am I telling you all this story? Because I now sit down with the same operator that I had met in the summer. It's now January, right? I'm asking higher level questions.
Mm-hmm.
The property is in a state. I have no clue where this place is. At the time I'm talking to her, I'm like, where the heck is Mississippi? I don't know. It's somewhere down south, right? You said it's where now? It's in Vicksburg? Okay, never heard of that. I heard of Mississippi, but I never heard of it. But the deal made sense. And the operator I believed in. So I believed in the jockey, right? That formed the basis of the first deal that I went into. The first deal I went into, the first deal I GP'd in, the one we just closed, it's located in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And when I first heard, I went, again, like, what is this? Where are you? So anyway, that team that I joined that closed on this deal, and this is my very long-winded way of answering your questions about seminars. The team that I joined, at this point, I believe in the deal, believe in the jockey, believe in everything. We had our capital stack all set up. Everything was good to go. Shortly after we signed PSA, one of the family office people on the team approaches the sponsor and tells her, and I don't know if I've told you guys this story, but he approaches the sponsor and he tells her that, he's seen the underwriting, not the conservative thing we showed the investors, the real numbers, what it's really going to probably be, which is more than what we're telling investors, right? And he said, I want to be on this. He's telling the sponsor, I want to be on this deal, 50-50, you, me, kick everybody off the team. And she said no. And he said, if you don't, I'll walk. And she said, goodbye. But we had signed PSA. So one of the biggest lessons I learned was seminar. But, through there, I learned a lot of things. I learned the power of conviction. She was so convinced in the premise of why she created this team. She created this team to have seasoned investors, and our team was also going to have people like me, first-time GPs who were hungry for life. We were hungry for becoming GPs. We were going to do this. We were going to crush it. And she wasn't going to let $1 million, $2 million, steer her away from her conviction. It made capital raising very difficult, but I always remembered the why. I always remembered, why are we doing this? Why is it so tough? It's because she believed in the deal. She believed in us. She believed in our team. So that was definitely a huge life lesson. And I always share it. So there I am, trying to raise funds for a deal that's located in a market not a lot of people know. But my faith in it was so strong. And my faith in it was strong because of the foundation I had of investing in a market that I had never heard about before. I invested in that deal, the Vicksburg one, in January. And I think at this point I've gotten about 5 or 6 distribution checks through there. Right. And, I've spoken to other people, and this is not to brag or anything, but I've spoken to other people who had invested in other deals prior to me. And, the deal isn't going as planned. They aren't
Mhm.
losing money, but they are making money. So they haven't gotten even one check till
Mhm.
date. So, yeah, so many things to learn from there. Team, faith, trusting your gut, right? And just courage. Because when I got the call at work, and I was relatively new to this. Remember, we were all at ease because we were supposed to raise 5 million, and we could see who was bringing in what. We're all at ease. There was nothing to worry about. And then I get the call at work, ring ring. We need someone to bring in EMD. Okay. And then I just went to work. I'm like, okay. And then, I just started calling people. The iffy 1.0 will probably have freaked out.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I realized that I either had to freak or I had to work. And worry about, you know, collapsing and shattering myself later. And so, yeah. So I just swung into it. So yeah.
That's where failing forward.
Failing
That's where
forward.
failing forward jump comes in at.
Yeah, failing forward. So really, that is why the team is key. The team
Yes.
is key. Yeah.
Absolutely. And while you were talking, it just made me think about the book by Ryan Holiday. The obstacle is the way. Yes.
Ah.
And just sometimes taking that easier way out, you're not going to get those valuable lessons that you would
Correct.
get if you go towards the obstacle, because the obstacle is actually the opportunity.
Correct. Correct.
Yes, love
Correct.
it.
Yeah, no, the what was meant to be a huge adversity really brought our team together.
Yes.
And it's I say a team, but we're like a family now.
Mhm.
We really are. That particular team, we're like a family. So
I
yeah.
love it.
Yep, definitely. That's good. That kind of goes into the next question. It's still we're on that multifamily.
One would think I had seen these questions, but they know that I did not. Like, no, I did not.
No, it's good though.
I'm
Yes.
eating my crumb.
It's awesome.
It's
So I love it.
beautiful.
Let's keep it moving, right? So many of our listeners, they may be new to multifamily apartment investment.
Right.
So could you explain, the key benefits and strategies that make it a powerful avenue for, achieving that financial freedom that everybody is looking for?
Right. I know. Yeah. So, and it's a very good question because, again, if you go into a mentorship or you follow people that are already doing this, and there's thousands of different strategies. For instance, in sub 2, I got in there and there's a full gamut of real estate is represented there. Which one do I pick? So I am a buy and hold person. That's my avatar. That's my strategy. And I think these are conversations that people need to first have with themselves. What is it that you need now? Commercial multifamily will not give you today money. It is not a get rich quick. I'm not saying that real estate is, but you're not going to necessarily see the turnaround that you would find with, say, a wholesale transaction or a fix and flip. It's definitely a grow wealth slow strategy. And so if that suits your avatar, that may be the way you want to go. I have a W-2, I work, and so I do not need the proceeds from real estate to pay my light bill, to put food on the table. Not right now. I need it in the future. I would like it to compound. Remember, I talked to you about my son turning 13, and I said, "Ooh, college is knocking around the door," but college is in about 4 or 5 years. So, what strategy can I take, or can I use, or can I employ? That doesn't necessarily, it may not necessarily pay me right now, but I'll get the same types of benefits between now and 4 years. And I felt that multifamily, was the way to go. It also, of all the different asset classes, it has what is known as the highest Sharpe ratio, so the highest risk-adjusted return. So you've heard of high risk, high return.
Yes.
Well, this isn't
Yeah.
this isn't high risk because you're spreading your risk, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, for instance, it's not just I didn't wake up and go buy a $13 million building. So there's a team, and part of your team is the lenders, etc.
Yes.
So if you want the benefits of real estate appreciation, depreciation, which is a huge thing. This is something I present to my high income earners. They don't necessarily care about cash on cash. How much cash am I going to get? What are my distributions going to be? Because they're already making sufficient cash. What they sometimes are more worried about is how much cash am I going to keep?
Yes.
And so commercial multifamily is very powerful in that, using depreciation, bonus depreciation, which is something we have available. You're able to get very significant tax write-offs, or you're able to get enough depreciation to cut down your taxable income. Let's put it that way. And then, of course, there's pay down, so there's pay down, and then you're getting cash flow through there. So if you're not in commercial like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Reassess your life. I know that my avatar likes working on a team. If anyone that's listening to this is in sub 2, you know that Pace Morby, if you go to YouTube and type in Pace Morby, I'm not, advertising this, but if you type in Pace Morby and avatars, you see he's listed different avatars. So some people are helpers, some people are buyers, some people are lenders, etc. And one of the avatars on the superpowers is to work on a team. That suits me. Why? I don't need to know everything about everything, right? So you could be sourcing the deal. I could be underwriting. Someone else could be underwriting. I'm raising capital. I mean, I need to know a little bit about underwriting, enough to be able to speak intelligently to brokers, investors, etc. I need to know how to speak to people. So it's good to know a little bit about everything. But with commercial multifamily, you don't need to know everything about everything. And that is what appealed to me, because when I started off in real estate, I thought, I don't know why no one told me this, but I felt there was this pressure to first become a wholesaler. So there I am, out of my realm and depth, cold calling people, and there was a benefit to doing that. It wasn't a waste of time. Remember how I said everything we do, there's seeds for tomorrow. So one day I'm cold calling sellers, absolutely no clue what the heck I'm doing, but it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with building courage and taking action, because one day I was going to pick up the phone and cold call brokers, which I did. So, but anyway, there I am thinking I'm a wholesaler. That's not really my avatar at all. So I had no business. I had absolutely no business being there. And so by the time I, circled around a bit, drank from fire hose, chased shiny and non-shiny objects.
Yes.
I meandered my way to commercial. It absolutely appealed to me, because as a wholesaler, I felt I had to do everything. I had to call and that's not true either, because you have wholesale teams. But just starting off, I was learning how to cold call. I was trying to learn how to underwrite. I was trying to learn how to do this and do that. Now with commercial multifamily, you don't have to do any of that. And that just suits me fine. So understanding who you are, what your strengths are, that might be helpful.
Absolutely. It's like Pace says, and I know we also read it in a book where it says, know thyself.
Know thyself.
Yes.
Absolutely. Know thyself.
You get so much farther that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Make it a lot easier on yourself and other people.
Exactly. I was frustrated in the beginning, but I didn't realize that those are just growing pains.
Yes. By knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, then you'll know, what role you play in the team and what other, team players you're looking for, so that you can develop.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a valid point, because you don't want a team that's filled with all Seths.
Yeah.
Or all iffies.
We'll be out there fighting. We can be out there fighting each other.
Exactly. So if it was filled with all iffies, we probably would still be like this. So should we? No. Let's research that. Okay, I'll get back to you.
Yes.
We'll get
Yes.
anywhere.
Not with my team either. We all be like, which way do I go? Which way do I go?
We all lost in our own little matrix.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
it's true.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
yes.
Lord.
So, as someone involved in the critical care of pharmacotherapy,
Mhm.
how do you balance your demanding career with your role as a real estate investor and mother of 3?
That B word called balance, man. Ever so elusive. So I think when I wish I could tell you that I found, perfect way to, but I've learned things, but do I have a secret formula? No. Is there a secret formula? Maybe, but mine probably won't work for you. See, because for mine to work for you, you have to have my temperament, have my the challenges that I face, the types of kids that I have, the types, so what works for me may not work for you. But I started off in just go, go, go mode, right? There was no balance. There was absolutely no balance. And my kids were much younger. And I would be on every single Zoom. If you're in sub 2, you don't need to be on every single Zoom. But I'll be on every single Zoom there, like a gazillion Zooms. I'll be on every single Zoom. And because I really lack balance, but I had a very limited amount of time, I would tell my kids, go over there, go in the room, don't disturb mommy, I have to do this. Again, I was doing it for me. And then as time went on, I would see Pace with his kids on Zoom. And then my kids are in the corner, not learning what I want to do. So I think what I found out is there's certain key principles, right, that help. Time blocking helps.
Yes.
Time blocking helps. Turning your phone off or on silent, putting it away helps. Seth, I think she's kind of looking at you, but I'm not sure. That helps. So for me that works. What's it called? The unpaid lunch hour or time frame that I naturally for 11-ish years have always worked through. I had to say to myself, I think I am going to take this lunch break. Not to necessarily eat. I would wolf down something, but during that time, call a broker. Napkin underwrite. Call an investor. Set a calendar reminder of sorts. Taking a weekend, using my weekends. So my weekends are very limited in the sense that I've always worked 2 full weekends a month. So while everybody else has 4 weekends, I have 2. I work Monday through Friday, and I only have 2 free weekends a month. But using weekends, thinking of them as admin days, where you plan for the week, right?
Yes.
That's where I do all my tasks. That's where, if I was going to post anything, that's where you're planning. It's kind of like a strategy session. You're doing all of that there. That I found helpful. I don't know if that answers your question, but those are things that I've done in between my go, okay, stop, plan on Saturday, go, okay, stop, put the phone away, go, okay, stop. Kids, yes, you can sit down and learn business with me.
Yes. Absolutely. I love it.
That's awesome. We have one of our mentors always talks about living according to your calendar. Make your calendar your boss. And that's being like your own boss, and live according to that. Make your calendar your boss.
I agree. Yeah. I think a part of me is always a little worried about what will happen if I accidentally deleted my entire calendar or something if it went down, because my life is on my. So my kids could ask, when do we have such and such? And I go, no clue, but it's on my calendar, and I know that we'll do it when the time comes. I have the appropriate reminder, So I have always lived, recently, I would say I've lived for a very long time based solely on my calendar. If it's not there, it's not happening.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a must, definitely.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it too, because I was kind of looking at stuff because it's me. I'm the one. I'm the culprit.
I didn't say nothing.
I was looking
I'm
at
being
him because
humble.
I thought he was gonna look at me.
Nope, like you can blame me. I take the blame on a lot of things.
Oh
I'm cool.
Lord.
You blame me.
It was me, Iffy.
Oh my Lord. No, but you know, the calendar for, like, how I don't know how people would do without a calendar. I have a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary school child right now, all at the same time, with 2 jobs and then real estate. If I don't have a calendar, like this lovely thing in between my 2 ears,
Yes.
there's
yes.
only a limit. There's only a limit. There's
I
only a
know.
limit. So I must have things. If it's not in my calendar, it's not happening.
Absolutely.
Or you were so special that I broke rank and I squeezed a little space for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. But even still, you got to write those down, because in those instances, you're like, okay, I'm going to call you at this time, but then you forget,
Exactly. Exactly. And it's mundane things too. It could be a
Yes.
grocery list. Everything has to be written down. If it's not written down, it's not happening.
Absolutely. Because it just helps you, budget, or else you'll be in a grocery store just grabbing things.
Just grabbing things, yeah. I mean, my kids know at this point. I came home one day and my oldest asked, "Did you buy such and such?" And I said, "Was it on the list?" No. So I didn't feel guilty because he had mentioned he needed it, but it wasn't on the list. So I'm not gonna try and remember it, because if I try and stuff that mundane piece of information into my head, something important might fly away. So nope.
Wow.
Not gonna do it.
I love that. Yes, absolutely.
Well, this got another question for you.
Sure.
Got another question. You didn't really answer some of it, but you touched on it.
Tell me.
But it's like building relationships. With equity partners. We know it's crucial in real estate. But and you said something earlier about your partners and the deals and the lessons that you learned. So what advice can you offer on establishing and maintaining successful partnerships in this industry?
This is a good,
3 words. Lead with value.
Ooh.
Lead with value. Don't treat people because that's so. Going back to the story I told you about how we lost significant financing, and I felt that I was running on a treadmill at the highest incline, sharpest incline, and highest speed. I felt there was this urgency, and so my earlier calls with people trying to build relationships, they tended towards, "Hi, my name is Iffy. Okay, I have this deal. You got some money to give me?" Something along those lines. That is not how to build relationships, people.
Right.
It is not how. You don't treat people like they're an ATM.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just moving away from transactional based relationships. So lead with value. The question now becomes, as someone that's new, what's the value? What am I gonna bring you? You have it all. You're already ahead of me. So, and I'm making a lot of references to stuff too, because that's where my foundation was. But going back to the avatar, when Pace talked about a connector, for instance, as being an avatar, had never heard that before, right? But it made a lot of sense as to why I always wanted to hear what so-and-so was doing so that I could connect them to so-and-so.
Yes.
It almost gave me permission to be who I always wanted to be. And so, prior to having a deal, or prior to having anything at all, that was the least I could do, right? Have you met such and such? Oh, you're in Tennessee? Oh, I know somebody else that's there. And I know somebody else that's doing such. I'll introduce you to that person. I know people monetize, their connection or connector, avatar, etc. But the point is, it's possible to lead with value at any stage. So lead with value. When it comes to creating and nurturing relationships, it's like a the average child here doesn't grow up with farms, but picture a farm. Picture a farm. Picture a piece of land. Okay, a garden. Everybody knows a garden. I grew up with that. I grew up in Nigeria. I have lots of farms. Picture a garden. You got to prepare the soil, water it, put some seed, and you don't walk away. You can't say, well, I planted it, it should grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so should the seeds that fell on thorny soil. but you're supposed to nurture it, water it. Weeds could come, prune it. It takes time and intentionality. So I say lead with value. That's the seed. It's not just lead with value and walk away.
Right.
Lead with value, keep that relationship warm. How? Well, depends on what that person needs. Some people need information, some people need connections. You see, we have different types of currency. Relationships are a currency. Time is a currency. None of us seem to have it because that's why we're chasing financial freedom, right? The time to do what we want to do, right? Okay, so maybe that's not something I can give you right now. Knowledge is a currency. So if I'm paying to be in a mentorship, which provides me with, or not paying necessarily, but if you're in a community that provides you with knowledge and relationships, at the very minimum, that is something you can lead with and share.
Yes.
That's the basis of what a lot of people that I follow on Instagram do. They're not there blowing their horn saying, come and invest with me. They're just sharing what they know.
Right.
Whether they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart or they're doing it to get attraction and eyeballs, but they're leading with some form of value. And that would be my recommendation.
Absolutely. And it's like Zig Ziglar said, you can have everything that you want out of life if you help others get what they want out of life.
Exactly.
Selfless.
Absolutely.
No, that's good. Yeah. No, I agree. It's believing. So I guess believing that you can be a funnel, right? Because the funnel always stays wet because you're pouring things through it and it's feeding other things, but it's always wet. And so it always has, it never lacks if you continually pouring through it. Seeing yourself as a funnel, allowing yourself to be a funnel, allowing yourself to be a channel, that's where the mindset shift happens.
Wow.
Right? Because you don't want to share, I don't want to tell this person, oh, my private lender, I don't want to share it with this person because you don't want to be a funnel. But if you have an abundance mindset, you allow this person come through you to that person, well, that person may one day open up and bring in their network to you.
Absolutely. What's that saying? Your network is your net worth.
There you go. There you go.
That is important. That is major.
Yeah.
It's major.
So can you share a memorable success story from someone within your target demographic who achieved financial freedom through your guidance and mentorship?
I will be honest and say that that's relatively early. Someone that achieved it already, because I'm only a year in my journey. I do have a couple of investors who invested with me based solely on their faith and our relationship. Wow. And so I'm looking forward to seeing where this grows. The deal we're on that they invested with, we intend to hold for a total of 10 years. The last 6 is just infinite cash flow. And so I'm looking really forward to seeing what this does for them, because it took a little bit of convincing, but we got to a point where the deal didn't matter. They didn't want to hear about the deal anymore, and they said, we're just doing this because of you. So yeah, I asked me this question in 3 years and a couple months.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That says a lot about, you as a person, and, having people believe in you. That's something, everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have that capability where you mention something that you got going on, you start a new venture, and they just jump on because of you.
It was certainly tough, but like I said, it takes nurturing. So if there's anyone listening and you start to raise capital, or it doesn't really matter what you're doing. The beginning or your first is always the most challenging, right? The first deal, the first raise, etc. Recognize that there are people that will not do business with you the first time. They'll go, never. That's a scam. I said that off face, I'm like, scam. Second time, they may go, beginner's luck. The third time, they may now see a pattern. Or maybe she knows what she's doing. So don't be easily discouraged. Believe in yourself, and that confidence comes through to others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have like definitely made an imprint on our lives.
Aww.
Yes. So just really quick, how we met Iffy was I just was kind of just sending out these blind Facebook friend requests to everyone because I wanted to change my circle. I wanted to be surrounded by like-minded individuals.
Absolutely.
And I sent a friend request to Iffy, and she sent me a message like, "Who are you? Let's get on the Zoom. Let's meet each other." And that Zoom was so powerful. That Zoom call was so powerful. Not only did she give us the names of people in our area that we connect with, she asked our market. She was very attentive just to our needs, and I could see her brain turning, trying to figure out how she could best help her. Iffy is a great and wonderful individual, you guys. So I'm really honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's close it out with one more question.
Yes.
We be pulling from that brain of yours.
Yes.
Yeah, we got one more. So
Sure.
basically, looking ahead, what are your future goals for Goshen, Capital Investments, and how do you envision how do you envision further impacting the lives of women, healthcare professionals and immigrants, in the specific realm of real estate investing?
No, that's an awesome question. So moving forward, I had mentioned, maybe I didn't, I'd mentioned that I work 2 W-2s. And so, the usual question people ask me is, so you're going to quit your job? You're going to quit your job? And no, I'm not. I love my job. I love both of my jobs. But it would really be nice if one of them could be optional, right? If one of them could be optional, if I could choose to go in when I want to go in. And so for short-term goals, and if there's anyone in the commercial multifamily space you're trying to set goals, please don't set goals based on unit count. Doesn't matter. Set goals based on cash flow.
Yes.
I buy cash flowing businesses. I buy cash flowing assets. That's what matters. So I want to get to a particular cash flow amount that will enable me to comfortably be able to switch that particular position from being mandatory to optional. So that's short-term goals. Longer-term goals, still keeping with this particular community, I actually have always wanted to be a huge financier for the church. And so whether it's creating safe havens or funds for women, single moms, teen moms, whatever it is, people that need resources, and I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm funding these things, how my kid's going to get fed, etc. So having businesses or investments fund things like that. The intent is, hopefully I would have, or intend to have built such great relationships with people like me, IFI 1.0s, and convert them to IFI 2.0s, meet more IFI 2.0s, and let's grow into IFI 3.0's business, which I am going to rebrand a little bit. But that's my plan, is to form and forge great relationships with immigrants, women, and people in the medical field, have them as co-investors, and then as we grow in our investments, be able to finance church projects.
Yes. Wow. I absolutely love it. So beautiful. So the people, they've seen the show, they've heard your story, and they want to connect with you. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to be an equity partner with Iffy. How do I get in contact with her?
I'm gonna go, well, I'm very busy. I'm antisocial. No. So I'm on Facebook. Iffy Asoh, ASOH. I'm also on Instagram at Iffy, IFY_ASOH. Please, you heard what she did. If you guys reach out through social media, send a message. Just don't send a Facebook request or friend request. Don't just follow. Send a message. Let me know you found me through this wonderful, wonderful platform. Send a message. I don't bite. I love to, meet people. You can also reach me through email. My email is Iffy, IFY, at GoshenCapitalInvestments.com. Yes. Any of those three forms.
Yes, you guys. So learn from my mistakes and send a message.
Send a message.
We'll also put all of the information that Iffy just gave about how you can find her down in the description, just in case you're driving. So make sure that if you run this episode back, you watch it all the way until the end, both times.
Yes. Don't skip through nothing. Listen, it's a lot in here. It's a lot of information in here.
Yes. Iffy, it has truly been a pleasure just sitting, learning, and speaking with you. We wish you, and we already know that you are highly blessed and highly favored. And we know that only good is going to come from you. So, we just look forward to hear more about your successes.
Thank you. You too as well. I would love to continue hearing about your wins and growing with you guys as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. This has been another episode of Conversations with SNL.
Don't forget, I'm Seth.
I'm Lashia.
And together,
we make Sequoia Living Investments,
where we cover motivation, inspiration, and financial education, people.
Yes.
Stay focused.
Yes.
Stay focused.
See you next time. Bye.